Everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Gamey Daddy channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it so much. Today we have on the table a Division 1 / Division 2 comparison because my last few videos has basically spurred on this conversation, and I'm happy to have the conversation about the Division 1 and the Division 2's mechanics, which one is actually better. Now, the Division 2 has reached a place where we can make this comparison because, yeah, as you can suspect, Division 2 is somewhat in the end of life of its own cycle. So I have both games here actually fired up. This is my PlayStation second character account from the Division 1. And this is my PC main account from the Division 2 and my main character as well. So we're going to be looking at optimization and recalibration, and we're going to see which system is actually better in order to get your gear, up to speed. Now, one of the challenging things is optimization in both games came later down the road, but now that both of them are in the game, you can now actually take it all as one whole a holistic system or holistic approach to getting your gear min-maxed, if you get what I mean. So let's look at the Division 1's optimization station. We're going to then look at Division 2's optimization station. We're going to see if there's a fair comparison and which one's actually better to get your gear maxed out. And the main and most important thing, more than anything else, is the cost of optimization. For the Division 1's optimization, stats, you needed 250,000 division credits and also 50 division tech per stat increase. So say I have this Tactician's Authority vest and I wanted to, get a stat increase. I think it would give me one stat increase basically across the board. Everybody's going to get basically a boost. I have 5.5% enemy armor damage on my minor attribute there. And I need to also get my armor up to, I think it's 1900 or so. So it will give me one stat increase for every stat as I'm moving up. So that's actually pretty cool. But again, the cost is 50 division tech per stat move. Now, I thought this system at first was a little too much, but then if you're a grinder, you're going to be able to get all these items quite easily. That was the justification that content creator for the Division 1, like Butter, even though, he's no longer covering Division 1 anymore, Division 2, he made that statement, and a lot of other content creators actually shared that sentiment in their videos when they were evaluating the optimization station. You can go back to the Division 1 days and watch those videos. That was kind of the consensus within the community. If you are a grinder, then this system is okay. That's basically what it was, because division tech is not necessarily that easy to come by. And even your division credits, by the time you actually try to optimize at 250,000 division credits, it really does start to add up. And, yeah, sure, you may have, like I do, 41 plus million credits or whatever. But, when you think about optimizing multiple gear sets, when you think about optimizing multiple items, then, you basically kind of need something else to go by. But let's cut that short for now. We'll move into the Division 2's optimization, which almost everyone has judged as being unfair. And in my estimation, I think that the system is also somewhat overly skewed. But if you are a grinder, you see what I'm doing here? If you're a grinder, you probably can get your gear optimized. Am I being a troll? I am. Or am I being, someone who wants us to apply the same standards when we actually judge both games? I think that's the case in my opinion. So I have this Dark Winner and I rolled, max SMG damage on it. I really do want this weapon. And for me to be able to get more critical hit chance or maybe increase my magazine size, I have to go get all of this crazy amount of credits. I got to get like 54 of these credits per roll. I got to get 101 SMGs per roll. I have to get all of this stuff. And the idea is this is something that is insane in order for me to get this one major stat. Now, here's the thing. Because of the quantity of loot drops in the Division 2, I have actually a higher likelihood of getting a max rolled Dark Winner than I do, say, in the Division 1. This is a fact. If we run around, say, maybe even Tidal Basin, right? You do all of the activities here in a few minutes. This is one of the best places to run around and farm in the Division 2. Do you want to tell me that the loot that you're going to get is comparable to any spot on the Division 1's map? That's not true. Y'all know it ain't true. It's not even half true. Even the DZ, you are at risk of getting run down by bad guys, whereas in the Division 2, no one's going to bother you in the light zone, and you have more loot opportunities there. So already, I think there are systems in place that kind of still balance out the overly expensive nature of the optimization station. And even when we were, petitioning the developers for an optimization station in the division, that was a Spider-Man thing, sorry. In the division 2, we talked about it being potentially expensive, so it didn't make the game cheap. I think they listened to that. I mean, I went back to my videos, and I was one of the first content creators that was beating this horse, optimization, and people were beating me back saying you can't get an optimization station. I remember a gentleman always commenting, telling me that the math didn't work, but you know me, I'm a stubborn optimist. They finally brought the stupid thing to the game, and now it's expensive, and I guess I shouldn't have maybe pushed for it to be expensive. I don't know. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe nobody listens to me, whatever it is. But we have them, and we have systems that counterbalance this overly expensive nature. I was talking to some buddies of mine, and they said, you can also go to a vendor and buy a bunch of the stuff that you need. Yes, credits are a little challenging to get, but as you run around and as you farm and as you do activities, if you're a grinder, you're basically going to be able to get credits to be able to buy some of these things, or you're probably going to have the opportunity to get as much, or even, God forbid, you use targeted loot to go ahead and run, missions that will drop the items that you actually do want in the game. Do you see how much of a more stable system the Division 2 is compared to Division 1? If you don't see it, that's also fine. One thing I've noticed is preference is also a big deal when we're judging these two systems. Now, because we can't just judge the optimization station, in isolation, we have to look at the recalibration as well. Because if, the optimization gets too expensive, how do you have other alternatives if you don't want to necessarily go out and farm? Good question. Recalibration. Now, before I even go into this part, the Division 1's recalibration sucks. It's just what it is. It was fun at the time, but you are absolutely stinking subject to RNG. Look at this thing. If I want my stamina to be maxed out, I have 3 possible recalibrations at 62,000 credits that could give me anything from a stamina, firearms, or electronics. And when I roll it, it's going to maybe give me max stamina. Okay, good. And if I do it again, let's go. We'll be replaced with it. So it's only going to, so it gives me max stamina. I can get any of these numbers, 12, 40, 54. And I can take that and I can confirm it. So it basically rolls, an RNG based system for me. So pretty much I'm in a place where it's still based on RNG. Now, even the single stats on the gear was not as bad. What was even worse were the weapon talents. Let me show you guys what I mean. So you take your, say, you have this LMG, right? This, whatever, it had 3 talents. And every single area you could roll one of all of these multiple possible recalibrations unless you already had the talent there. And so if I wanted, maybe say this is a brutal, unforgiving, and vicious, say if I wanted self-preserved, right? I had to roll and be subject to RNG. And then I got, basically a slew of talents that came my way, and I have to pick and say, no, I want to keep myself preserved or whatever, while blowing through credits and using Phoenix credits and weapon kits to do this. This system is absolutely flawed. There is no way anybody will tell me that, oh, the Division 1's recalibration station was better. Let me show you the Division 2 so I can close down this argument, and then we'll move to other things and maybe go back to normal life. Here it is. First of all, we have a recalibration library. I think Frederick Thailander designed this system, he and his team. You have to give credit to where credit is due. I don't know if he designed the one from Division 1, but, he worked on the Division 1 as well. So maybe he kind of figured, hey, we got to get this to where it's actually better. First of all, your recalibration library allows for you to go in there and store stats. So I can come in here and store all the talents that I want. And then when it's time for me to recalibrate, I have access to these talents when I want them on demand. And all it's going to cost me, yes, it's going to cost me materials and it's going to cost me credits. But at the same time, materials and credits are things that I can acquire using all kinds of different means. They were very difficult to acquire, but your Shade Watch right now is a good place that actually has a whole bunch of them just sitting there from your scavenging. So hands down, when it comes to recalibration and optimization and gear systems, I'll leave it to you to make your mind up. But I'll still tell you that my opinion, based on the evidence that we're seeing here, the Division 2 has grown. Now, I can definitely understand the sentiments from when the Division 1 first started. We did not have this. This was not, the recalibration station and the optimization station, the way it is now, was not the way that it was when the game first dropped. It's definitely, a thing. But at the same time, even in the Division 1, those things were not even in the game when the game first dropped as well. These were systems that were added, and the developers are using it pretty much as some sort of a carrot on a stick mechanism. Predatory is actually what I was talking about. That's the talent I was talking about that I wanted, actually. I want predatory. Give me select attribute. Yeah. Oh yeah, I got it. Yes, that's the one I wanted on that weapon anyways. That's kind of the best combination you can get. But this is basically what my video is about. I wanted to show all of this stuff, just in writing on paper and, depicting it for us to clearly see. Maybe it will kind of show us that, we've actually come a long way in the game. Now, here's the big issue. Why were these things not implemented in day one? That's a good question. But if they were implemented in day one and you got all your gear to be maxed out and, it was where it was, would you have played the game as much as you have played it? Maybe not. Is this a good approach to make players play the game? Definitely not. The best approach to make players to play the game is to add engaging content and continue to drip it. You don't have to dump it all at the same time. I feel like the way they dumped all the 3 legendaries in Warlords of New York, I felt like they could have spaced them out like, so many months down the road. At that point, it would have given them more time to even work on the other strongholds like Camp White Oak having a legendary, Tidal Basin having a legendary, because they promised that, in kind of the release of Warlords of New York, they talked about that. So these are still content pieces that I'm sure that they were probably planning on doing, but with everything that's gone on these past few months, I don't know if we're going to be getting them. But I'll get out of your hair right now. Thank you so much for your time and audience. Thanks for even engaging me in the video. In the comment section, let's go at it, man. Let me hear your thoughts, and I'll talk to you all in another video. Peace out.